um, those shortfalls into Excel by moving to DHIS2 as your primary data collection point. That will enable you that once the person in the field has completed the RDQA, then you have, once they're online, you get immediate access to that data. The second thing it does is that it enables us, I think, at a global level to be able to see the differences across indicators. We've never been able to aggregate quality across indicators, and that gives us an able to standardize and be able to have a really good picture across PSI on how data quality is doing and where the issues are that we need to address. So broadly speaking, that's what we're hoping to do by moving from the Excel tool to a fully online DHIS2 tool. And so, I'll hand over to Amber to tee up Rodolfo, who will be taking us through the tool.
Thanks, Wycliffe. Yeah, so I'm just going to actually just kick it straight to Rodolfo to lead the training. And this is being recorded too, so I know that some are having some connection issues and would like to play this back for teammates later. So it's being recorded, and we'll also share the materials after the call.
Right. So I think it's down to me. So hi everyone. I know that I don't know some of you. So my name is Rodolfo Milia. I am based in Europe. And during the last couple of months, I've been working with Wycliffe, Amber, Ruth, also the Kenya team and other members of the monitoring team in actually trying to, in the process of converting the RDQA tool that you have in Excel into something that we can use on the HIS as the solution for data capture, storage, up to a point analytics is do the basic analytics in the HIS, and well, you can always extend to Power BI. So what I'm gonna present to date is the current status of the implementation that we have for pilot purposes. We're not ready to go into production. What we're ready is to do pilots across multiple countries to get feedback before we can actually go ahead and have the full implementation. So everything is available in Teams. So there is an RDQA team. And if you don't have access to that team, I will encourage you to say so in the chat of this conversation. So Wycliffe and Amber can give you access to the team. And in that team, as you know, all teams have a general channel. And what we have done in that general channel is we have added a tab that is called the RDQA Wiki. And so you will always find in this first tab full information about the latest set of documents. You have here a shortcut to all the key documents that are being used in this project. So you have information about the indicators that you're about to see in the application. You have information about the country pilots. More importantly, you have indication here about how to download the APK that you need to use when doing the RDQA, how to log in. We currently have it available for testing purposes in English, French, and Spanish. We share a common password. This is all running from the development server because this is just a pilot. This is not production. So, and you have further information here, including a link to this PowerPoint that I'm going to be sharing today. In the PowerPoint, again, you have instructions about how to log in. But I'm going to bypass that, and I'm going to be sharing my phone. So for this demo, what we're going to be having is I'm going to be having these lights on the right, and I'm going to be having my phone live. Yes. So you can follow what I do. Okay. So basically, I'm using an Android phone. I'm not using a tablet, but this will work in a tablet. And I'm using the, as I mentioned, I'm using version 2.1.2 of the Android app for the HIS. So I have logged in using one of the so many usernames and passwords that we have. I mean, obviously, many of you are being set up with different accounts that will give you access to different programs. So when you log in, your home screen is going to be populated with a different mix of programs depending on your access. And obviously, but what you're looking for is for this RDQA program. This RDQA program will contain all the assessments of all the OR units that you have access to. And well, mine are a mix. Many of them are incomplete because we've been changing the metadata. So what I'm going to do is, for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to select a health area. I'm going to do it in HIV. So then I get to see all the previous assessments. Please only notice the last assessment that it clearly indicates what was the OR unit where the assessment occurred and what was the period evaluated. All the other assessments are all setups and are not showing that. But anyway, I don't want to add the previous, I don't want to edit a previous assessment. What I want to do is to have a new assessment. Basically, I'm going to be presented with the list of all units that I have access to. Where do I want to conduct this assessment? I'm going to select the Samawati Medical Center. I'm going to be doing that assessment today, but the period that we are going to be evaluating is going to be the second quarter. So that means that I'm going to be evaluating this facility from the for data points that go from the 1st of April until the 30th of June. Yes. And as you know, you can use either this spinner control, or you can actually just go to the calendar view, whatever you prefer. So I'm basically setting, I'm doing the evaluation for that period, and it takes me straight into the M&E assessment. Most of you are probably familiar with the M&E assessment. It's a series of questions. We have numbered those questions as in a first section. They contain 1.12. Yes, they contain 12 questions. Staff explain indicator correctly, and for most of them, I always have the same choice in terms of, I'm going to make this full size. Was it correctly explained? Was it partially explained, not explained at all, or not applicable? If I want to get further information about this question, about what is, I can actually use the information facility and get further information in that question. So for the purposes of this demo, I don't think, well, I'm going to read quickly the questions, but I assume that the majority of you are familiar with these questions and know exactly what they mean. So question number 2 is standard reporting tools for services. Yes. Question number 3, standard reporting tools for stock. 1.4, tool guidance available. 5, documented review of site level reports. Yeah, if you have further, if you need to know more, remember that you always have the information box. Number 6, staff explain checks correctly. I'm going to say yes. Documented reported guidelines. Yes, completely. Documented feedback of site of report. Yes, completely. Staff explain data use correctly. Yes, completely. Question number 10, documented data handling guidance. Yes. Documented quality controls in place. Yes. Adequate and sufficiently filling system. Then there is a second section that this one only contains 5 questions. So paper to digital entry quality controls. I really don't even understand these questions very well, but I haven't been trained in this. What I want you to probably understand, if you want to know a little bit about the mathematics, that what's going behind the scenes, essentially just completely has a value of 1, partially have a value of 0.5, and not at all have a value of 0. So, and the last one, not applicable, is basically a null. So if that question is not applicable, then it will not be part of the denominator. And we will not take it into consideration while calculating the score. So basically that's it for the M&E system assessment. I'm gonna save that. And basically, let's have a quick look to the overview that we have here. So those of you that are highly familiar with the HIS will notice that essentially what we have here is a track identity. In our case, the track identity is not a person, but is an M&E assessment, RDQA assessment. And where this is the org unit that is being evaluated. This is the period. I mean, I can go here and see those details. This is the period that is being evaluated. What else do I have to say? Well, we have conducted the assessment. And now I can start adding further information. So the core element of the RDQA assessment is to do the data verification that you do across 1 or more indicators. Normally, I understand that most assessments involve 2, 3, 4 indicators. So what you will be doing is adding 1 data verification. The date represents the date that the assessment was done. So this is the event date. Yeah, have nothing to do with the period evaluated. We already said that at the assessment level. And basically now we go into doing the evaluation of our first indicator. So you're going to be presented here with a long list of indicators that could be used. This list is constantly growing because we are in the process of collecting indicators across multiple health areas. And I think at the moment we probably have about 100, but we foresee this list coming to be a list of about 200, 300 indicators. And you don't have to scroll until you find what you need. Is if you know that the indicator that you want is something related HIV and is ART, you can just write some of the keywords and it will give you all the matches. You can actually, you probably can be more precise and AGY. So if I do AGY, I only have 2 possible matches because that's the indicator that I'm going to be evaluating. So something to notice is this list will only include indicators that are integers. It will never be proportions. We will never be evaluating the percentage of positive cases or the percentage of negative cases. We're going to be evaluating what it constitutes the numerator or denominator of that particular indicator. So I'm going to select this one. So basically, they are all number of. They will never be proportion of or percentage of. And Wycliffe and Amber can explain that further. So basically, I have selected that indicator. And then there is a second selection about the donor. The first entry is likely to apply to many of you, not a specific donor, but otherwise you have here a list of donors. And we have not yet included the possibility of other. I think this is the kind of things that we haven't finished it, but if your donor is not here, we will also add the possibility of other that will add a further question. But just to keep things simple, I'm just going to say no specific donor. And we move into the first section of this evaluation for this indicator. So is the section for availability and completeness. So it includes 3 questions. Well, actually 2 questions. There is a question there in the middle that we're not sure if we're going to keep or not. So Wycliffe and Amber, send us a note if you want to keep the picture question or not. Are source documents available? I'm going to say yes. So we no longer have the possibility of saying not applicable. And basically behind these 3 possible answers, we continue having the mathematics of 1, 0.5, and 0. Yes, completely. This, if we were to keep the possibility of uploading a picture of the report, it's unlikely that, but basically, if we decide to have a picture of the information that is being reported, you can do so. But it is unlikely that we keep that picture, the taking of the picture in that position, so it would be somewhere else. Are the records complete? Yes, partially. I'm going to say yes. I'm going for the perfect survey for the first part of the demonstration. So we advance to the third section. And this is basically where we finally get into the data entry. I have never been clear about exactly what you need to report here but I think, yes, I should say Q2. And basically, at the moment, this application allows you, if you read carefully, say period 1, period 1, period 1, and then it moves into period 2. So it allows you to enter up to 3 periods of data. So for example, Q2, the information could be in the books that you are in the process of reviewing, separated into the month of April, May, and June. So what I'm going to be entering, and again, I'm going for the perfect survey, we are going to get a perfect match between the summary report, the information on the MIS or the HIS platform, and the recount that we do on the source document. This is a perfect match. For the second period, I'm going to do again a perfect match. So, and no, we want the perfect match. And then I'm going to do the same for the third period. Have I done it? All perfect. Yes. Okay. So that was the data entry. And now we can actually see the partial calculations so far. This demonstrates a problem. I did a mistake. Yes, I missed this. So that's 25. Period 2 have to be 26. Yes. Okay. So let's move to 4. And 4, what it's doing, none of these fields will allow you to do data entry. They are all protected. And section number 4 basically contains some of the calculations that are being done with the information entered so far. So basically the first 3 fields containing the sum of the data for the 3 periods of source document, summary reports, and the MIS system. And then these are the calculations. And because all my numbers are perfect, I'm getting 100% on source versus summary, source versus MIS, source summary versus MIS, and I have no variations. It's just a perfect facility. Later on, I'm going to do one with some problems, but I just want to finish a perfect report. So let's now move into section 5. Section 5 is about the timeliness. So I was expecting to get 3 summary reports, and I did get 3 summary reports, and that gave me 100% achievement. And let's now move into the last section, the integrity section. Well, integrity, confidentiality, and precision. And essentially, I get what one question for each one of those items. They're just passing all the questions with flying colors. And at this stage, it takes me back into the overview of the assessment. And you could potentially have finished your assessment if you were only doing one indicator. So at this point, if I move into the indicator tab, I get all the calculations based on the information entered, and because everything had been perfect, I'm getting 100% for each one of all the areas being evaluated. At this point, I could continue doing the assessment, but with another data verification. So let's do that. But this time, let's not do the perfect facility. So I'm going to work on the area of HIV. I apply that filter. I'm going to do a simple one like ART new. No specific donor. So we already went through all this. So I'm going to go with partially. And for data entry, what I'm going to do is that this time, we're still doing the second quarter, but what I'm going to do is this time is only one period that I'm going to report. And I'm going to report the 3 numbers are going to, none of them are going to match. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to enter information for the first period. I'm going to leave all the second period empty. And basically, the calculations are happening here. And going to go into timeliness. So number of expected summary reports. I mean, this is going to be difficult to, I'm just going to leave it in 100%. So that one they're going to pass. I'm going to say that there is partly for these ones. I'm going to save it. And we have a second data verification. So if I now go to indicators, you can see that that second report have affected all the indicators. They're still getting into the evaluation of source versus summary, source versus MIS report or MIS donor. They're still in green, but they are below 100 because the difference is relatively small, but it has been affected. And yeah, well, I can continue. This is my evaluation. I can continue adding. No, this is not my evaluation. So we were doing HIV. Is this one? I can continue adding further data verifications. Something that I want you to notice is when I'm doing those indicators, so this is the AGYW, is I always have a space to take notes here, and I can add remarks in general. The first time that this facility has been, well, I'm just gonna let you know that you can write here a lot if you want. And you can add multiple notes, but I'm adding notes that relate to this precise indicator. So they are within that data verification, but I even can add further notes that the facility, and then I can write more notes, but these are at the assessment level. I'm sometimes getting out of the. More importantly, once I finish doing all the assessments and I have discussed with the facility the results, the next step is to agree a series of action points. And for that, you have available this action plan that allows you to enter one or more action items. So you probably have agreed an action plan. And the idea here is we are going to enter here the different items that we're agreeing with them to execute. This one is not started. This is a person that is responsible to do it. And this must be done by the 15th of September. So I can add multiple action plans, and I just gonna add another one. And maybe Wycliffe can expand in some better examples, but I don't have more medium. Just gonna add more here. Not started. Amber is gonna be responsible for this one. And this actually is to be completed by the end of August. And I actually prefer this view. Save. I can add as many as I want. So I was actually showing you, is this presentation that is available in the channel, basically has slides that basically explain everything that I have just done live. Select your program and the process of finding. So let's actually do that because, so at the end of the day, the supervisor is going to end up with a very long list of assessments. Only my last assessment, sorry, you're not seeing my phone, is at the end of the day, the supervisor is going to end up with a long list of assessments. The assessments are going to be across multiple OR units and for different periods. So if you notice, is my last two assessments, because they're properly set up, they do show exactly those three key data points. What was the health area, what was the OR unit that it was evaluated, and what was the period that it was evaluated. I'm sorry that, I mean, these are previous configurations and they don't do it. Is if I go to save motherhood, I don't get anything because I haven't done any of those. If I go to TV, I only get one. If I go to, let's go back to HIV, I get everything that I have done in HIV across my facilities. Let's imagine that you do have here too many facilities and only want to look at a subset of facility. I only want to see it to Bodaki. So I can go here to the filters and I can select the Bodaki. Bodaki is here. And that has been selected. And now I will only have in my list only those, the only HIV, because as you can see, I'm applying two filters, the HIV filter and I'm applying the Bodaki filter. So I only get one assessment, or I will only get the collection of assessments for that facility. So we have prepared the application for the time that the number of assessments grow and you have a lot of assessments and you need to be able to locate one across that sea of assessments. What else do I need to show you here? So let's remove the OR unit filter. So clear selection. Has that been clear? Yes, because, and now I see all the facilities. So the one that we just did is this one that is not synchronized yet. Let's see if I don't get any conflicts. Yeah, it all went fine. It's fully synchronized. So that means that this assessment is now available in the DHIS server and it will be part of the global analytics. I don't have anything on the global analytics. I think that Wycliffe and Ruth are working on that. Everything that I have shown you today is something that you can do right now. I'm going to show you in a little while, because I think we have to open this for discussion and for questions and answers right now, the plans that we have for the future to make this even better. But before I do that, I feel that we probably have questions from the audience. So I'm going to stop now before I show you about how are we improving to make this data capture even better in Android very soon.
Thanks, Rodolfo. If anyone has questions, I think just unmute yourself and ask. If not, then Rodolfo, I think you can just go ahead.
I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, so my question, thanks Rodolfo for the presentation, quite good. My question to you is it possible to align the indicators to the program area? So that like once you select the program area, for example, if it's HIV, when you go to the indicators, it only populates for you the list of indicators for HIV. Then my second question and the last one, when you input the data on the template, so I noticed I think you put like higher numbers than what was in the source document. So it showed the accuracy, I think, at 96% and 97%. So if probably you had put less numbers, would the accuracy have been over 100? And are we able to differentiate over-reporting and under-reporting? Thanks.
Okay. So who asked the question? I didn't get your name. Sorry.
This is Beatrice from PS Kenya.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. Hi, Rodolfo.
Okay. No, I didn't recognize your voice. Yeah, nice to hear from you. Okay. So the first question is when you are in an assessment and you already have selected that your health area is HIV, then when you're doing your data verification, shouldn't your indicators be limited to HIV? Yes, we're going to do that. But because the indicator list is unfinished, at the moment, I mean, it takes a little bit of the HIS setup to make this link, and we want to have a stable list. So as soon as we have a stable list, or a semi-stable list, the list is changing daily at the moment. As soon as semi-stable, we're going to do that link. So you will only be presented with HIV indicators, and then you do a search within those indicators. Yes. So that's on the to-do. That's on the to-do list. So the second question was, and I think is with this one.
Yeah.
Help me to create this situation. What numbers do you want me to enter here so we get?
So that's okay. So you can leave the source document as 25, then put the summary sheet as 24 and the DHIS as 20.
Okay. So let's see the calculations that we get. So I close this section and I close and I open the calculation sections. So, and the numbers that you're looking for are these ones.
Okay.
And
so my comment is, so when there was an over-reporting, the variation was like below 100. And when there's an under-reporting, the variation is still below 100. So if someone is looking at this, is it easy for them to take, like when you go to the dashboard, how easy is it for someone to tell whether it's an over-reporting and or under-reporting when they're just looking at the dashboard? It would be good maybe, yeah, Wycliffe, you want to comment?
Yeah, let me comment. The reason we did this way is initially we had set it up to do over-reporting so that you could see that, you know, the score went up to like 110%. But the challenge with that is that that over-reporting, if that one was at 110% and another period is at 90%, it would average out and it would appear like they have perfect scores because the over-reporting and under-reporting would cancel out, right? So it would appear like everything is fine. They'd get 100%, while there's actually an underlying problem. So the reason we did it that way is so that you can quickly identify that, yes, there's a problem with this reporting. You won't tell until you look at the raw data whether it's over and under reporting. But the other way was canceling out the errors.
Okay. Okay, that's clear. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions, or do we have any concerns regarding the mechanics of data entry, of data capture for an assessment, the navigation, the calculations? Why is this not now being calculated? I don't know. Any questions?
Hi, Rodolfo, this is Bram here. I do have a question about the app itself, and I think you mentioned at the start something about a form. And if you could explain a little bit more about how this the Android data capture app is different or will be different from the generic one, and what implications that has for us to run it on our devices.
Okay. So okay, so for those people that know a lot about the HIS, is so at the moment, when you have a multi-data verification process, what happens is the way that the program indicators are calculated, and you need to have this APK for the average to work the correct values. So we have changed something on the, we have done a small change on the, everything will work, but the indicators will be wrongly calculated when you have more than one data verification stage. But everything is valid. It's just that that data calculation is going to be wrong. The so yes, this is identify. I don't know why it come off like that. It's a fork that we have, and at the moment for that, people that is doing the verification of this data, they should use this fork that is available on that link. What we're planning to do, and this is a perfect intro to what we're planning to do as part of that fork, we are going to be doing a series of improvements to the app. So, but these will only be ready later on this year, around September. So at the moment is when you do the data verification, they will just be listed here as data verification, data verification, data verification. And you will have to open each one of these stages to know what indicator is the one there. Or even when you are working inside and you are in the process of entering information, the title doesn't help because at the top it just says data verification. So the fork that we're working on for the RDQA program will display the name of the indicator. So you have it here listed. And when you open the indicator and you are working within the indicator, will display the indicator name. So the other thing that we're working on is in those calculations that Beatrice was asking for. At the moment, those do not have any legends, don't have any coloring. And we are going to be applying legends to those data elements because if you notice, those are data elements that are being populated with program rules. And we will get them to display background colors. But the most interesting feature that we're working on is the feedback. So this feedback and everything that I have shown, Bram, answering your question, is going to be on the PSI fork. That is what's going to be on the Google Play of PSI. It's identical to the standard University of Oslo app, but when it recognizes I have an RDQA program and potentially a Honkis program, because we're trying to also eliminate the Honkis app and replace it with this single app, it will actually show you these extra features. So what we're working on is, I already showed you the overview tab, the indicator tab, but our plan is to also have this new feedback tab that will only show in the RDQA and in the Honkis programs in the PSI fork. And basically what it's giving you is all your indicators, but it's giving you a full overview. So these are actually the results across the 7 evaluated areas. And in the case of accuracy, that goes into further detail for that specific indicator, ART new. You could open it for the other ones, or you could only look into those areas that were problematic, and you can do this indicator by indicator. If you actually, as a supervisor, want to get a prompt or want to get further information on how to generate feedback, the idea is that what it will be considered like support aid materials is going to be embedded within the application. And the same way that you have this view that is basically by indicator across the technical areas, you have the equivalent view, but flip it. So now if we look into availability, we can actually just look into, these were the indicators that have issues regarding availability, or you look at completeness, or you look at timeliness. In the case of accuracy, they open further because they break down. In all cases, you can open this further to get prompts as a supervisor to have better information. We don't have yet the final setup, but the idea is that this information should be shareable the same way that in Honkeys, you can send this as a hyperlink. You can actually select here WhatsApp or Gmail and share with the provider a link to the report of this assessment. As in Honkers, you can only do so if you have synchronized, because essentially you are sending a hyperlink to an existing tracked entity, in this case, to an existing assessment. So you can only share this once this assessment is synchronized. And that way they will have visibility into this as well as into the action plan online, the same way that Honkeys provides that access. Bram, that was more than you asked, but it was a good segue to explain the things that we're working on to improve the experience, the overall experience of the app. And I do have one more thing to mention on terms of what else we're working on. For the purposes of this, pilot, we have limited the number of periods that you can capture to 3 periods, is P1, P2, P3. But in the next version of this, we plan to expand this to 12 periods. So I just wanted everyone to know that. And one more thing before I forget is if you do a pilot and you do real data collection, please remember that it's going to be available in this server, but this is not the final setup. The setup is going to change, and there's probably going to be some incompatibilities. So you should not have this as your only source of information. The pilot, the purpose of the pilot is not for you to do data collection. The purpose of the pilot is for you to be able to give constructed feedback. So before we go to production, we have the best possible configuration. So I go back to Bram and making sure that happy with the answer or any concerns, questions.
Thanks, Rodolfo. Just to stimulate the questions for those that that have been using or that have used the Excel workbook. What do you think about this this app? Just based on the presentation that Rodolfo has done.
So, Tebo from Lesotho here. I would like to assume, and Rodolfo, you correct me if I'm wrong, that this application would also, I mean, especially for the managers that will be, I mean, the organization leadership that will be reading, I mean, all of this feedback, will be able to access this from our web-based DHIS2 application, as well as are we going to have this tracker enabled on a web-based application so that even if you don't have it, say a tablet, you can actually still capture all this information through a web browser in DHIS2?
Yes, so this is a standard DHIS configuration, and yes, let me try to show you that. I guess Wycliffe and Ruth are working in a set of standard dashboards, and they're developing program indicators for the analytical side of it. For the data entry, I really want to encourage you to use Android. I do think that Android is better than the web at this stage. Maybe it's because I work on that project. But I'm going to show you is how does this looks in the how does this look in I'm gonna try to show you. I don't know anymore if this is the correct one or not. I mean, this doesn't look nice in the web, but yes, you can do it here if you want. This is the wrong program. You can do it here, but it looks so basic. You look how horrible the indicators look like, and your questions are there, and yes, you can complete them here. But so that's the M&E assessment, and then from here you can add the data verification stage. Yes, you can do it from here, but I don't know why you want to do it here. It's so much better on Android.
And I think for your second question, this is Wycliffe. The idea is that yes, the analytics will all be available. The raw data and the analytics will be available within your typical DHIS2 setup, and so everyone who uses DHIS2 within the organization can have access to the analytics. So we are working on a set of standard dashboards, but that does not prevent you from going a step further and working on your own disaggregations, depending on, if we'll be working on something that's, country level, but you may want to do something specific for the HIV program team or specific for the team in a particular region. So you'll have the flexibility to be able to work on those yourselves.
All right, thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Seems there are no questions, comments.
Okay, Rodolfo, I don't know what you suggest we do. Can we try and get people to at least, while we're on the call, to try and download and sign into the app? Or how do you suggest what do you suggest to do next?
yes, is yes. I mean, it's a yeah. You all have yep. Again, if you have access to Team, you can download the app. You can and then log in. I mean, if you want, I can demonstrate that piece. For those of you who are not familiar with that piece, so just cleaning up my. Let me do a demo that piece. So as we mentioned, the idea is that you should install. Maybe we just do the whole thing. So if you go to your teams, and I think this will be the best way for you to do it. You go to my recommended wiki. Yes, so you can from there install the APK. So, and I haven't tested this. Maybe I'm getting prompts and I'm not getting the prompts because I have the notifications. Okay, so maybe while I'm testing, that hyperlink doesn't work. None of these hyperlinks work. So, but this will work. Okay, so we do have a problem on the wiki that it doesn't open the, let me see, nothing opens, basically. None of my links work on my phone. Okay, so this is not gonna work. So let's try it a different route. So I'm gonna go to the, okay, I will see what is.
In my actual Teams app, by the way.
Say that again?
If you have Teams open, the links in the wiki seem to work for me.
Or in your computer?
In my computer.
Yes. What is not working is on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna try a different route, and DHIS pilot. So I assume that we have this here. I'm gonna open it. And let me see if I can follow the instructions from here. Okay, we will try to see why those links are not opening when you are on the phone. So what I want to see if, can I use this link? Okay, so this one is working. Okay. It will come with this message. Yes. So just say open. It's downloading the APK. Okay. You say install. The nice thing about this APK is that it can live together with other University of Oslo apps at the same time. So, okay, app install. I'm gonna open the app. So it looks like the normal app. You know that is, it can pre-populate. I don't know if in your case it will come with that. It's likely to open with data and no user, okay? So one possibility is that, I mean, you need to change this to dev, and either you write dev, or using, what you can do is that you can actually just use this and scan it. It will automatically populate it. obviously knows. I'm using an RDQA test, but you can use any of the users that are here. For checking the translations, I believe that the Spanish translation is finished and the French translation is in progress, but maybe it's finished. I'm gonna use a different one. I'm gonna use that one. And I'm just gonna now, sorry, you're not seeing my phone. And I'm gonna log in. I mean, we will encourage people to use, if you already have been assigned a user ID, please use that user ID. I think that because this is a pilot, the spreadsheet with all the users have been posted here. What is the difference between these two? I don't know. Is because what is going to be different is that each one of you have different OR units assigned. So it is important that you log in with the correct username. So you actually get to see the correct users. And if you have any problems logging in, or if you don't get to see the correct OR units when you log in, please talk to Ruth. Ruth is your local help desk. She's in the right time zone. So, and in most cases, it's just a simple DHIS configuration of assigning you to the correct OR unit, or making sure that the program is assigned to that OR unit, so you're allowed to do data capture. So based on that, is I'm getting synchronization errors because I'm getting so many previous events that are incompatible with the new configuration, and that's fine. But well, at this point, you should select health area. I mean, you're probably going to get an empty list in your case because you haven't conducted any assessments for those OR units that are assigned to you. Have some people been able to download, install, and log in successfully? Regarding the pilot, I just want to highlight we're having a mix in terms of part of the idea is that we want you to enter previous assessments, and this is probably the best way for you to get familiarized with the app. So if basically using your phone, you are entering a previous assessment that is displayed on Excel in your laptop. And once you have entered one or two assessments, if you have access to the field, then the overall recommendation is that you should actually go to the field and conduct a live assessment. We understand that some people will only be able to just do historical data entry, or I don't know if you're conducting telephone assessments. I don't know about that piece. But for help desk, I don't know, Wycliffe and Ruth, if you want to explain about if you want people to submit tickets or not, or you want to encourage people to contact Ruth directly in Teams. In some cases, for Latin America, we have a different help desk. But for Asia, the help desk is Ruth. And she can escalate problems, but because the time difference, hopefully Ruth can solve most of the problems while you're awake during your working hours.
Yeah, so Ruth is actually able to support on this. She's based in Nairobi for the team in Asia. So, in your afternoons, you'll generally be online. And for the team in Africa, we're in the same time zone.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the pilot, you should focus around the data capture process and validation of that process and those calculations. Regarding the global analytics or the country analytics or the supervisor analytics, I don't know, Wycliffe, where are we with that and what do you expect countries to do? They should be able to reuse the program indicators that exist, but we may need more program indicators. They can do analysis directly in event capture, but I don't have a demo for that. I don't know if you have. We encourage people to use event capture as much as possible. And if you think about it, one of the nice things about the application is that at least some values, not all, because in an assessment, this is the demo program. This one is because when you do an assessment and your data verifications includes this is data entry, this is the raw data, the calculations. These values are being stored directly in the event. So that means that if you want to do analytics and event reports, you can do it directly without having to use program indicators. But all the other values, and I don't know why this one is not working. All the other values, you will have to use the pivot table because they are program indicators.
Yeah, so there are two ways we can do this, and I just want to open this up to the team who will be doing the pilot to help us understand. One would be that we share what our current version of the dashboard looks like. It's not in, we can set it up in DHIS2 and share it. Or the second approach is that, because this is also an opportunity for you to play around with the data and see how it makes sense to you, is for you to try and set up a dashboard for yourself. So, and if you're running into problems, then Ruth can help you there. So I'm just trying to understand from the team who'll be doing the pilot, what makes more sense to you? Us supporting you from this level, or you building the dashboards for yourself and seeing how well they work. And the monitoring advisors, the RMAs can also chime in as well.
Tested positive. Okay. I have one more thing to ask. Okay, this is working, but there is a mistake there.
So what approach works better for you?
Hi, Wycliffe.
Hi, yeah, go ahead.
This is Beatrice. I'm thinking maybe Ruth can do like a demo and share, and we could input on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there's something that we had come up during the RDQA training. I think it was it in 2018 December? There's a something we had come up. So maybe you can build on that and then we.
Okay. Great, that's fine. And I think Amber was asking a question around how we're going to report issues with during the pilot. And I'd say let's just use the pilot channel and tag them to Ruth so they can be able to see when there's an issue. So yes, we can use a pilot channel as our help desk.
And then just while we're in this silent period too, so I've tried to, everyone who requested, I've added. If you see a colleague that should still be added, just please go into the management section of the team and you can request an add. And that way we can try. And Beatrice and Julie, I'm failing to add you, so I'm hoping we can help me on that one, but everyone else should be added.
Okay.
Okay, so just a little thing that I just noticed, and I want to request to everyone, when you install the app, once I found my phone again, by default, when this app gets installed, here in settings, the frequency of the metadata synchronization, that is the sync configuration, is weekly. So every week, you're gonna get the latest configuration of the RDQA program. Because we're likely to cache bugs and come up with solutions, or we're gonna have new indicators, or who knows what, yes? Please change this to daily. So every day you get a fresh configuration that it contains the latest set of indicators, or the fact that we remove a question, or we add a question, or we did a correction on a program indicator that I just noticed that I think we have one program indicator with a problem. So have daily things, because otherwise we're making the fix and it's taking 1 week for you to get the fix. So after installing the app, please set the frequency to daily for metadata synchronization. Shit.
Great. Amber and Rodolfo, I don't know if there's anything else we need to discuss, but if not, I think I just want to check, do we feel that we have enough as a team to be able to go out and test this configuration? Is there anything else that we'll need to be able to help us go out and test, or we are good to go now?
All right. So your best friend is Teams, okay? Make sure that, as pointed out by Wycliffe and Amber, in Teams there is a dedicated channel for the configuration and for the pilot. And please just should we change the name of this to pilot? No, pilot is here, but it's just that it doesn't follow the convention. That's when I'm lost. Yes, we should change this. Okay. All right, I think we can finish early.
I agree. Great. Thank you, Rodolfo, and thank you to everyone for joining the call. As you begin to do the pilot, please be in touch with Ruth if you run into any issues. and also I think a respective monitoring advisor if you if you need additional support. So Bram, myself, Taurai can also be available to help. So thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much, Rodolfo.
Bye, everyone.